Since the Taliban regained control of the Afghan government in 2021, the outside world has been deeply concerned that this ancient land will plunge into endless chaos and turmoil. But unexpectedly, the social order in Afghanistan has gradually stabilized, bringing a glimmer of hope to this vicissitudes of life. However, the reality remains grim. Afghanistan's economy still appears fragile and urgently needs external assistance and incentives. Faced with this challenge, Afghanistan clearly understands that in order to achieve rapid economic recovery and growth, it must actively seek international cooperation and rely on external forces to promote domestic economic development. In this context, as Afghanistan's neighbor, China has become a good choice for Afghanistan. In 2023, the Afghan government decided to open 4,500 square kilometers of land to China and grant oil exploration rights for up to 25 years. This move aroused our great curiosity. Why did Afghanistan choose to cooperate with China in this way? As far as I know, Afghanistan has vast land, but agriculture is the mainstay of its economy. Considering that less than a third of the total agricultural land is cultivated, this contradiction leaves many Afghans hungry. Statistics show that up to 6 million Afghans are currently facing a hunger crisis, and two-thirds of them are suffering unspeakable suffering. This number is deeply shocking. After the Taliban formed an interim government, although the domestic situation was temporarily stable, the indifferent attitude of the international community made Afghanistan's development path more difficult. For example, the United States has frozen approximately $7 billion in assets belonging to the Central Bank of Afghanistan, and the European Union has also frozen $2 billion, which undoubtedly makes it more difficult for Afghanistan's economic recovery. Faced with these difficulties, Afghanistan has not given up looking for hope and a way out. Instead, it has actively sought international cooperation and assistance, hoping to revitalize the country through outside help. But at present, it seems that China may be Afghanistan's best cooperative partner. Why do I say that? Against the background of turbulent changes on the international stage, Afghanistan is at a critical political and economic crossroads and is in urgent need of external assistance. China is not only a neighbor of Afghanistan, but also the world's second-largest economy. It has profound accumulation in the fields of economy, technology, and culture. As China's status in the international community continues to rise, the Belt and Road Initiative has gained widespread recognition and support around the world. Cooperation between Afghanistan and China is a key part of this grand strategy. It not only conforms to the strategic goals of the One Belt, One Road Initiative, but also injects new impetus into the economic development of the two countries. It is for these reasons that the Afghan Taliban interim government signed an important cooperation agreement with China in 2023. According to this agreement, China will carry out oil exploration in 3 provinces in northern Afghanistan, covering an area of approximately 4,500 square kilometers, and plans to increase investment in this project year by year. In 2023, the initial investment amount is $150 million, and then the total investment will gradually increase to $80 billion. It is worth mentioning that the value of this cooperation goes far beyond the oil exploration itself, but lies in what it represents. In fact, it also involves some overall situations that the United States desperately wants to obstruct. How did this happen? From an economic perspective, the signing of the agreement is expected to deliver tens of millions of tons of oil to China every year, significantly reducing China's dependence on the external oil market and enhancing the stability of domestic oil reserves. This means that China will become more self-sufficient in the balance of oil supply and demand, and its ability to regulate oil prices will also be significantly enhanced. Looking at the international political arena, as China's national power continues to increase, its influence in Central Asia has gradually emerged. The signing of this agreement is of great significance for expanding China's One Belt, One Road strategy, strengthening cooperation with Central Asia, and enhancing China's influence and status in the region. On the other hand, since the war in Afghanistan, the United States has been trying to use military means to maintain its dominance in the region. However, with the changes in Afghanistan's political situation, the United States' influence in the region is gradually weakening, while at the same time, China's influence is steadily growing. This oil exploration agreement is not only a sign of China's increasing influence in Central Asia, but also shows the world that China is participating in global governance with a more active attitude in challenging the dominance of the United States. What deserves our attention is that although this project has huge potential, we should also look at its potential risks objectively. So, what challenges might the project face? According to the contract details, we can find that China's control over the project will gradually weaken as the project progresses. This change is closely related to the Afghan interim government's goal of pursuing project independence. Similar situations have been observed in our previous experience. For example, in Pakistan's port construction project, although it was initially led by China, as the project progressed, the Pakistani government gradually adjusted its strategy to protect port sovereignty, resulting in a decline in China's influence in the project. Although Afghanistan's political situation appears to be stable on the surface, the shadow of terrorism still lingers. The attack on the Karachi port project in 2014 is a tragic example. The incident resulted in the casualties of many Chinese workers and sounded the alarm for Chinese companies. In a volatile environment like Afghanistan, it is particularly important to ensure project safety and personnel safety. Since the Taliban interim government took office, the political situation in Afghanistan has become more complicated, and neighboring countries are also cautious about it. Against this background, China continues to invest in Afghanistan and faces higher political risks. If handled improperly, it may arouse negative public opinion internationally and affect China's image. For example, the hydropower station project in Myanmar has been subject to protests from residents and criticism from the international community due to conflicts with local ethnic minorities, which has brought huge public pressure to China. Although it faces many risks and challenges, the project is undoubtedly a valuable asset to the Afghan Taliban government. It can not only create a large number of job opportunities and investments for Afghanistan and promote domestic economic development, but also enhance Afghanistan's international status and influence through cooperation with China. For China, despite the challenges, this is also an important opportunity to demonstrate responsibility and deepen the Belt and Road strategy.